Broccoli is the only vegetable you need to eat to boost your health, and I bet your doctor agrees. This is the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, the podcast about people who love to eat and cook healthy. This is your guide to the world of healthy cooking and conversations about happy diabetic living and lifestyles, where we simply turn ordinary ingredients into something extraordinary. Welcome to the kitchen, and let's get cooking. Hello everyone, I am Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic, along with my son Jason, and this is the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. Welcome to the Happy Diabetic Kitchen. We're getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to take the mystery out of healthy cooking, and I want to explore some amazing foods and my diabetic journey with all my successes, all my challenges, and quite honestly, a couple failures along the way. If you're new to the show, I'm happy that you're here. But of course, always here with my son Jason. Hey, Jace,
Hey,
how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are things in your world?
Things in my world, they couldn't be better.
Okay, awesome. And I know that Jason loves to cook. And so, Jason, anything new on the menu?
I've just been enjoying the grill a little bit. Nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
Just, some pork chops, some pork patties.
Oh, nice.
Just some nice summer stuff.
Yeah. For me, I've been flexing my bread making skills. Not really a very accomplished baker, but I think like everybody during some of these moments.
I might disagree with that.
Well,
I've tasted your bread. It's pretty phenomenal.
Well, you're nice to say. Though I'll be honest, it is pretty damn good. But I mean, I've gotten better at it. So it's like anything; it's practice. It's a work in progress, right?
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. So hey, today in the kitchen, I want to talk about one of the most truly amazing veggies on the planet, broccoli. We're also going to have a really great recipe of the podcast, my roasted broccoli with lemon and feta cheese right out of my cookbook, and much, much more. So, hey, I think we should get cooking. What do you think?
I think we should. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's do it. So I want to start off the podcast by eating. And let's eat some roasted broccoli of love. So this is a really simple recipe. It's in my cookbooks that are available online. But here is the recipe. Super simple, super delicious. So what's in it? I've got about a pound of broccoli. I've got a tablespoon of some really good olive oil, a little pinch of salt, and a little ground black pepper. That's it. So I'm going to cut up the broccoli in little florets, mix it with the olive oil and the pinch of salt and a little bit of cracked pepper. So I'm going to preheat the oven at 400 degrees, 200 Celsius for my friends across the pond. And I'm going to cut up the broccoli from the stalk. Now, I also like to peel the stalk. Slice that into 1/4 inch slices. I'll mix the florets, the stems with the olive oil, salt, pepper, and then what I'll do is I'll transfer it all on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Now we're going to talk a little bit about parchment paper, but that's my secret go-to covering. I like the parchment paper better than aluminum foil. Things just don't stick to parchment paper. Then we're going to roast it in a preheated oven until the broccoli is tender, lightly browned, sort of caramelized. It might take about 18 minutes, and I'll stir it 3 times in that 18 minutes. Then when it's done, I'll take the roasted broccoli on a platter. I'll squeeze some fresh lemon juice, a sprinkle with feta cheese, and that is it. So my tip is parchment paper. And parchment paper will be used to keep food moist, cook it evenly, makes cleanup a whole lot easier. So what do the nutritionals look like for roasted broccoli? Well, it's really about 60 calories, about 3 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbohydrates, no cholesterol, and about 71 milligrams of sodium. So this is delicious, and healthy dish. And we're going to talk about the health benefits of broccoli in our next segment. So stay tuned. So I want to talk about broccoli, one of the most amazing vegetables that are so delicious and versatile, yet really, really good for you. Matter of fact, my doctor describes it as a lifesaver. So the next time you think about making a green smoothie, you can put down the spinach and the other vegetables and pick up something a little different instead. What's that, you say? Broccoli. Broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable. It's related to cabbage, kale, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. These vegetables are known for their beneficial health effects. For example, broccoli is high in so many nutrients, including fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, iron, and potassium. It also boasts more protein than any other vegetable. That's why I say broccoli is a lifesaver. So let's talk about some of the nutritional facts. Well, raw broccoli contains almost 90% water, only 7% carbs, 3% protein, and virtually no fat. And broccoli, if you didn't already know this, is very low in calories, providing only 31 calories per cup, which is amazing. Now, let's look at a cup of broccoli and let's dissect the nutritionals. 1 cup of broccoli, 31 calories, 89% water, 2.5 grams of protein, 6 grams of carbohydrates, 1.5 grams of sugar, and 2.4 grams of healthy fiber, and virtually no fat, 0.4 grams. So broccoli carbs mainly consist of fiber and sugars. That's why they call vegetable carbs complex, opposed to simple. The sugars are fructose, glucose, and sucrose, with small amounts of lactose and maltose. So it's really got natural sugars all across the board. However, the total carb content is super, super low. Only 3.5 grams of digestible carbs per cup. Now, fiber is another key element for helping your diabetes. And fiber is an important part of a healthy diet. It promotes great gut health, and it also helps prevent various diseases and helps to aid in weight loss because fiber makes you feel full, which just psychologically makes you stop eating. So 1 cup, about 91 grams of raw broccoli, provides 2.3 grams of fiber, which is about 5 to 10% of the daily value. So fiber, that's amazing for broccoli. Now what about protein? Proteins are the building blocks of your body, necessary for both growth and maintenance. So I've learned that broccoli is relatively high in protein, which makes up about 29% of its dry weight compared to most vegetables. However, it does have a very high water content, so it only provides about 3 grams of protein per 1 cup. But the benefits of consuming this amazing green cabbage variety vegetable are so many. So Dr. Chatterjee talks about broccoli in this way. Start in the gut after traveling through the small intestine and expanding from there. Broccoli also provides numerous other benefits, including heart health, eye health, linked to cancer prevention and cholesterol reduction, according to previous studies done by many reputable hospitals and doctors. However, make sure if you're cooking and consuming your broccoli in the most efficient way to get full results, meaning you should avoid frying, right? And I would say that's true for most foods. But opt for roasting, boiling, steaming, or even eating it raw instead. So the amazing thing about broccoli that I have learned, it really helps to boost your immune system. Almost like vitamin D will do the same thing. And broccoli is one of those natural vegetables to do just that. So what do I take away from that is eat more broccoli. And, broccoli and leafy greens and those kinds of vegetables are what they call free food because there's very little carbohydrates and you can basically eat as much as you want. Again, because they're so high fiber, they keep you full and full longer. So that's my thoughts about broccoli. Would love to hear what you have to think about broccoli. If you have any comments, go over to my Facebook page, Chef Robert Lewis, The Happy Diabetic Kitchen, and tell us what you think. So it's time for the Happy Diabetic Kitchen tip of the podcast. This is my tip number 43. And we've talked about it because we just did the recipe of the podcast. Buy parchment paper. A lot of times people like to use aluminum foil, but listen, for me, I love to roast vegetables on parchment paper. Foods don't stick like they do on foil. The cleanup is super easy and it lays out nice. I love parchment paper. It's my go-to coating for all of my pans. I'll cook cookies on it. I'll line my brownie pans. No, I'm just kidding. I don't eat many brownies. But I definitely use all parchment paper for roasting all my vegetables. That's kitchen tip number 43, buy parchment paper. Okay, when we come back, we have the question of the week from my friend Roger in Bellevue, Washington. And now it's time for our question of the week. Today's question comes from my friend Roger, who I met at a TCOID workshop in Bellevue, Washington. His question is, Chef, how do you store mushrooms so they last longer? So here's my tip. I like to store mushrooms in paper bags instead of plastic bags, or just ripping open that fiber plastic container covered in cellophane, and then the mushrooms are flopping all over your vegetable drawer or whatever. They often will just dry up and lose flavor. So for me, I like to put them in a plastic bag, and that keeps them nice and fresh and will actually allow the mushroom to last longer. So if you have a question, head over to the website, hit Contact tab, and I'll answer your questions. You ask a question, I'll answer it. If you're loving what you hear in the kitchen, please head over to Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes Podcasts, and leave a comment or give me some feedback. I love to know what you're thinking. Your thoughts and comments are very much appreciated. Our podcast is produced and engineered by Jason Lewis. Our theme music by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band. And yours truly, Robert Lewis, on the Searing guitar. And of course, our kitchen mascots, Scout and Tucker, who on this very rainy Iowa day have been sleeping for most of it. And Tucker's trying to get to the microphone, but that's not really working for him. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let me just leave you with this thought of the podcast. Bethany Frankel once said, "Your diet is a bank account. Good food choices are good investments." So long for now, and remember, everyone, no one loves you more than me. See you next time.